they need to protect their interest more than the average citizen.
Partly because they're in
That's a
violation
better
of
way to
current
put it.
code, and so we're trying to accommodate them, and I think that's an admirable thing. But the businesses that are in place, a lot of the businesses that are in place today are in violation of your current code, right?
Yep.
And so we're trying to come to some amenable
Consensus.
position where that, they don't get damaged too badly, and the residents don't get damaged too badly, but there's always gonna be concession on both sides. So somebody came up with the 5 pieces and 3 visible. And I'm not
Let's say
saying-
everybody did.
Well, okay, so let's just leave that.
What I'm saying is the whole discussion was an expansion of the current code, and this whole document is an expansion of the current
Because
code.
if I remember right, you're only allowed 1 piece. One truck.
One truck.
Whatever.
One ton.
Right. So this is a huge departure from the current, right?
Correct.
So if you
Well, there was
say,
none before.
if we're saying, you know, that the residents just aren't given enough, the whole thing is the residents giving. So
Well,
that's
I-
not quite right.
Is-
But somebody came up with the 5 pieces, and if that was the businesses, then I would question the 5. But I would just make sure that the K and the N match. So if you're gonna allow 5 pieces, if on backhoes, track codes, whatever out here, it's the same 5 pieces down here, but at the trucking company, you just limit the number of cabs that they have. If they have 6 or 4 trailers, I don't care. They're only driving 1 truck in and out of the place. See what I mean?
That takes care of the noise.
It takes care of the noise and the emissions and everything else, and takes care of the guy driving home from wherever that night and drops his truck off and picks it up again in the morning.
But a guy driving home and dropping it off, we got a lot of those, well, we have
We
some
do.
of those
We do.
that aren't even home businesses. He's just working for
That's-
somebody else and he drives it
That's
home.
correct.
That's
Yeah.
And,
Yep, that's correct.
and if we eliminate these things for legitimate home businesses,
So none of that.
and we've got the guys driving them home that are not home businesses, we're gonna be hauled in on saying, well, why do you let that guy do it, but I can't when I'm trying to play by the rules?
No,
Because you're still allowing 1 cab and one cab and four other pieces or whatever that number is.
but he's not running a business, he's
Tim
just
was
driving the
talking about-
vehicle.
He's just driving his
4
truck
pieces,
home.
but, Whatever
That's
that
okay.
number is,
Or,
I think the transportation company, the thing isn't the trailer sitting there. I mean,
so Pam, if he's
Mark's got
not,
trailers.
if
I
he's
don't
not a
have
business,
trailers. They're
He's not a
wider than the
business, he's just
county.
driving.
okay, if he's not a business and he just drives that
When they have the
vehicle,
big box
That's
trucks that are
is
full of
it less
food,
unsightly than if it is a
then
business
it's
and he
maybe an
drives it
issue
home?
after the skunks move in.
Really?
Well, that's-
My proposal of saying
Yep.
4
Because this
pieces
is one
total.
truck.
Okay, now we've got rid of,
A truck is a truck, regardless of whether it's a business or
So
whether
change
it's
it to
not.
4 and then.
But
make
we're
it
talking
so
business.
it's-
all right, then we go down and we
That's
say
what
on the
businesses.
combinations. Now, this combination
No.
could be, we're in the trucking business now. The combination could be a tractor, a trailer, a pup, or a tractor, a trailer. It's a combination,
It's the
but we're
tractor,
gonna
it's the
allow.
tractor that's the issue though.
Not really.
Yeah, it is. That's
Just a
what
minute,
it
let me
is.
finish. Now, Mark's situation is,
Well,
he's,
just so you know, I live right next door to Mark,
I know that.
so I
heard
kind
he's-
of know what he
I've heard-
has. and
I've
what
heard
he
he
does.
cuss you, Barry.
I know he did.
Mark drives to LA, comes back at 2 in the morning. His boy's been up to Boise, Idaho. Look, he comes back at 2 in the morning. Now there's 2 combinations in front of the house,
Actually, Mark never parks his trucks out in front of the house, but that's,
okay, on the property.
yeah.
Okay, so 1 is not good for him. But all I'm trying to do is get it to where when this room fills up with these business owners again, they'll be able to say, okay, I've had enough, that's good. Okay, let's try it from there. I don't want them to come back in and say, okay, go back to the 5 pieces and the 3 visible and the 3 combinations, and that's what we talked about in city council before you guys sent it on the planning and zoning. Now, John Blotter came in, he's a council member. John put an email out to everybody, including the council members and the commissioners, and said, I think this is too many. I read his email, I happen to agree with him. Just me. But now to find that number, that's really what we're after tonight. I want to be able to send this thing back with these 2
So
sentences.
you don't want to send it back with 1 combination. I don't like the combination part, because I really don't mind the trailers nearly as much as they do.
So you wanna make that 2?
Well, I'm just asking you, you were saying one's too little and three's too many, so 2 sounds like the only number that's left.
Yeah, but the other guy that's on the other side of town doesn't have a son, and he only needs 1 combination.
That's not
And-
necessarily
and
true.
the
Different trucks
combination-
for different uses.
The combination situation these guys have only happened once in a while. Now, I missed what you said, I'm sorry.
So we use different trucks for different things too. We have a dump truck and a pup trailer, and then
Yeah.
you have a tractor and a flatbed.
Yeah, but can't we count that up in K?
No?
No, a dump truck's a tractor. It's a tractor trailer combination, a dump truck and a pup.
Okay, let's make that 2 combinations.
That would be 4 pieces, right?
No, because you might
It
have
could be
a-
6.
Could be 6.
Yeah, could be. Let's make it 2.
Okay, so how would we word K? How would we word K?
I would leave K alone with the exception of putting some restriction on the acres, which is what, I don't know your name.
Which is cute.
Tom.
Tom.
Tom, that's what Tom was saying. And I would just add it onto that one, and say not to exceed
Well,
1, or
I keep
Okay.
seeing
or
some
twice
issues.
per acre, or half acre, whatever you guys
That's
decide.
not gonna
Not to
fly.
exceed 5, just max
A
it.
What's not gonna fly?
radiologist that
Acreage,
works
I
from
don't
home,
even want to talk
why
about
shouldn't I be able to?
Don't want
Then you can't do
Medical,
anything
dental,
with
and
that
insurance
junk.
businesses are not allowed. I don't
Which
think
of these
so.
2 20-acre parcels is more and which one is less impactful?
It's obvious, but the question is,
But this is
how
twice
many of
as
those
big.
20 acres are gonna get divided up with 5 different?
They can.
Well, there's some that are out there now.
There's no
Some. But I'm still saying, how big of a business do you want in a residential area?
Right, that's the question. How far do you want to let?
And I don't want it
20
any bigger than,
We don't want any bigger
Five.
than what we're already talking about.
I don't want it 5, but
Well,
if I don't want it 20,
let's
I'd
start
rather
at
have
4.
5 than 20.
So how about 2 and in? 2?
2.
2 and in.
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
2 combination,
2 combinations?
I feel like a
And
lot.
4 in K.
And 4 in K?
Well, and I'm sitting right between you two, so I don't know. I mean, I understand how Mark makes his living, and I understand what you guys are trying to do. I don't have a problem with that at all. But John makes a good point with his decibels, and maybe that's how you limit the smaller lots. And the
Well-
emissions is, maybe that's how you limit the smaller lots. But
That would come under nuisance.
I look at, when you come back to the complaint-driven part,
Yeah.
any one of my neighbors could make enough complaints that I could probably be out of business anytime, about any business.
Really? Where do I write them?
I hate to put this out there, but
Don't do it.
I've already said it, and
No, but
and that should put some of you people's minds at ease to know that you could be able to put the squeeze down on these businesses that are impacting a bunch of them, like all these in the little 1 acre
But you
lots.
really couldn't,
'Cause-
the way this is written.
No.
Well, it
There's
would,
no-
on the
there's no
complaint
teeth in
side.
it.
You can complain, but if they're meeting the code, then
They're
they're
still
okay.
meeting the code, these guys can't deny you your
But-
license.
Right, but,
There's
but
different,
the complaint of the noise or
The nuisance.
right,
the nuisance.
Yeah, you're
or I
right.
could say,
And then also, you look back at this, and it says, other, I'm trying to think what one it is. Comparable to personal, there's vehicles comparable
Yeah.
to personal vehicles stored, parked in the town of Daniel shall be allowed. So I guess that's already kind of,
you gotta wait.
that's
'cause
been
there are people with
grandfathered
30
in
or
on my
40
part.
You can
Because
park
there's already
anything.
trucking businesses that have been in Daniel
Forever.
to the beginning of the Heber Valley.
And you do-
And that was my point.
if
We're
you
not
get-
changing anything.
We're not, I agree, but I don't know. I don't know the
I think
answer,
you're
but
just
I'm
trying-
happy with 2 combinations.
Yeah.
I would seal the deal and walk away a happy man.
I'm happy with 4.
Because this has been going on for almost
Okay.
14 months of me trying to sleep at night and run a business and worry about 4 families' incomes. And it's about putting me over the edge personally.
It'll do that.
I've had it.
So if you
I'm happy
change,
to put this to bed.
if you
Combine,
change it to what you said, to change the K to 4 devices or 4
Why don't
pieces.
you combine K and M and say you can have,
I think you've gotta do something that limits it.
It
one or
combines
other.
Yeah, you can do one. or
combine the
other.
two so you can have 2 combinations and 3 other pieces of equipment, or you can have 5 pieces of equipment, or, but it puts a limit on it.
Not quite
No, because the
combined.
combination's different though, because the combination would be the cab and multiple trailers.
Yeah,
Let's just leave it.
I do have
Gary, don't you want this to
multiple
be separate
trailers.
though?
Yeah.
I have more trailers than I do have trucks.
So how many trailers
Um,
that are just sitting there?
6,
I've
7?
been taking them and storing them other places,
Right.
just to.
I was gonna say,
I
put
do.
them over on 40.
I put them over where they belong.
Well, I was gonna fight with Eric, but you can't go.
But, I mean, even,
So if you,
but I,
so if you do like Gary said, and combine K and
council's still
M,
gotta decide.
would 5 pieces of equipment cover you? Because I didn't think that was enough. I thought you had more, because that'd be two cabs
I,
and 3 trailers is all it
Yeah.
would give you. Would that cover you?
you know,
No, I think
Would that cover you
combinations
there?
needs to be in there.
Well,
Well, no,
I
I'm
think-
not
I
saying
think
take that
another
out.
thing is
Yeah,
that-
trying to combine the two.
even the other shops in the RA5 zone.
With a continued use.
No, but it's still an RA5 zone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's not a home occupation.
Well, that continued use is challengeable.
There's been trucks on it for.
It is,
I mean, it's,
but it doesn't fall under this.
But it's
It
still
won't
not
fall
zoned
under this
correctly
code.
for what you're doing.
it would if that was challenged and it's
Yeah,
not,
that
but
does
it's
have to
not
be.
continued.
But then you'd
use.
have to build a
It's
house
not, you'd
before
have
you
to build a
could.
house.
We already challenged it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad some of
Don't
the
hear
church
that.
contracts for protection.
here's another thought, you know, that, 2 combinations, and how many trucking businesses do we want to allow to have more than 2 vehicle or 2 combinations? I had my brother, when I moved to Daniels, say, I want to move to Daniels and be your neighbor, and he's in the trucking business. I said, no, I don't want you.
Had nothing to do with the trucks either.
Because I think that that's gonna overcrowd our neighborhood and it's gonna cause conflicts. And that was about the time Steve Meyer bought, the house he bought and brought trucks to it. That was the house he wanted to buy, and it was gonna be my neighbor, but
Okay, let's make a.
So if you combined M
Okay,
and
what do we decide?
K and M,
Go for it.
that was my
All those
question. If
2
you said
cents.
2 combinations,
I've already hit my
how
quota
many
for
trailers
motions
is that?
today.
Is that 5 pieces?
one
Did
one
you-
truck and
are
one
you
trailer
done,
would be
Pam?
a
Did you have
combination.
But would you have multiple
She's
trailers?
done.
She's at it, okay.
So let's say you had 3
I had a whole
trailers
bunch
and
of
2
stuff
cabs.
that I thought would
Is that
make it
enough?
better, but I'm good.
That covered you at that site.
So we could do that, but I
I'm
think we
good.
still got some major
Because
issues.
then you
What
could
about-
I
combine
have a great
K
neighbor,
and
she
M,
doesn't
say
run
5
an industrial
pieces.
business.
And if the trucking company has 2 combinations and whatever.
But I think that one's gotta go like
We
that.
can have some other pieces of equipment.
Okay, we do have one comment before we make the motion on this one to send it back. I think
M?
M,
Medical, dental, and insurance.
So say, for example, I am a radiologist and I get my x-rays over the email and I evaluate them and call back. I don't see any reason you couldn't do that. Maybe I run a dental lab and I make false teeth or something like that and make a delivery once a day. Don't see any impacts with that one. And I think how you've all of a sudden done is just included a group of businesses for no reason. I mean, I understand you don't want a bunch of people coming in and out, but I could also be an insurance broker and do the whole thing over the internet. And so I
We
think,
talked about that last time, and those people weren't included in that, that was more offices. But maybe we didn't
so then it
state
should
it
say
well.
that.
I don't think you can
Practices.
say it that way.
Like, you
Isn't
can't have
there
a
more
medical
to this
office.
in the home occupation part that's not,
Didn't we have 2?
Right.
It's
Right,
not
the
that they're-
first section of that speaks to everything that's contained within the home.
And
This is
we're all-
outside of the home,
Oh, that's right, those would all fit in the other part of the
So
code.
they would
And
fit
then,
in
and
the
then
They'd
we're
all
gonna
be
tackle
in
commercial.
right?
See-
There's,
Yeah,
it's
so they
all
fit.
deals with impact, so there's no impact if it's all in the house, in that 20% area.
And then we go to commercial and they do it.
And so I brought up that very thing, and that's what they were worried about, was having a dental office, patients coming in and out, and
Okay, well, let's address
But if that
the
addresses
traffic in and out, instead of saying medical, dental, or insurance, because now you're discriminating against three businesses that you really don't have any reason for. So it goes to court, you lose. Because I let somebody, I don't know what they're doing,
Maybe
they've
I'm
got a
a,
copy
maybe I'm a
machine and
masseuse, that's not
people make
considered
copies.
medical.
No,
Would
we
we allow
have
that?
one.
We have that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We have
So
what?
why would that be?
This, I guess maybe we need to include the word office. That's what we were trying to allude to, that you wouldn't have an office.
Doctor's office.
Yeah, doctor's office, you have 20
Well, and
patients coming
I
in.
agree, but I
and out.
think you've got to do it with
That's
the
what
type
we're
of
trying to say.
activity that you don't want, not base it on what, you know, whether it's medical, dental, or insurance, because there are other things. Maybe I have an appraisal
Medical,
business,
dental,
maybe I have it.
and insurance businesses with walk-in clientele are not permitted.
That's a great
That would be.
way to do
What-
it.
That work?
There you go.
What is the objection to this? What are we trying to avoid with it?
Traffic, noise,
Okay, do we have daycare or dog grooming?
we have both.
How is medical or dental any different
Because
than?
daycare, you drop your kids off, you pick them up. If you've
Not-
got a
not
dentist
necessarily.
office, it's every 15 minutes.
Daycare is available all during the day, Jay.
Yeah,
We have control over that license.
well, and it says
For
here.
daycare, they have to be state regulated, just like a doctor.
So
is.
can we leave it in and put with walk-in clientele?
I like that
Does
solution.
that work?
Okay. So medical, dental, and insurance businesses,
With walk-in
Walk-in
clientele are
clientele.
not allowed.
you can throw it out there.
Insurance or similar businesses.
Yeah.
Or actually, you just have to say businesses with walk-in clientele are not allowed.
That's
Then
probably
that takes all
better.
your nail
Yeah,
people.
Yeah.
then you're not climbing into that.
Yeah,
Say
that's
it.
kind
But
of,
walk-in clientele, that takes out all, a lot of your home businesses.
We're
massage
We're
people
splitting
and-
hairs, we're picking and choosing stuff.
We're down to that.
Volume,
Right, so I'm saying maybe you just have to exit out. I think you'd lose that one. If you got hair people and nail people,
Daycare. Dog
daycare,
grooming.
you're gonna lose it.
Well,
But we can't.
there's only three entrances. Let's
Let's
put out gates and make it a gated community.
No, but I think a case like I talked about, like it's a dental lab or
Yeah, I don't have a problem.
or someone selling insurance over the internet or on the
No,
phone.
no problem with that. So it's just a one,
So what was the consensus, we striking?
Time for it.
Yes.
Striking
M.
M is out.
That changes everything.
Yeah, now we have K and N are closer. See, I think K and N belong together and I'm getting them
You
closer.
just keep eliminating till they touch.
So K and N can be actually combined.
Yeah,
If you
And-
just take N and put it at the end of K, and just say shipping, transportation, trucking businesses fall under these same 5 pieces, not to exceed 2 combinations. So they have 2 combinations and another trailer, same number of pieces that we allowed anywhere else.
and since
Or
L
if
has
you
some
change it to
problems, we
4.
can get rid of L too.
What are we gonna do about smaller lots?
We haven't got there yet.
L's way too ambiguous. What is large?
yeah.
Well, I think large facilities, I think that is spelled
I would just
in
say
our code.
facilities for warehousing and wholesale distribution are not allowed.
Yes.
We can't decide what's large, what's small.
So you're
Okay.
just taking
Okay.
out,
Side,
so,
What?
Yeah, how do you decide what large, what?
I don't know.
that's ambiguous.
I agree with that.
Well, when I get on the scales,
Well,
people don't decide what's large.
Large almost needs a new code for small.
so you're taking out businesses requiring large,
No.
and leaving facilities for warehousing.
Businesses requiring facilities or where, well,
No.
I would say you're right. Get rid of the whole thing and just say, well, the first 3 words and say
Yeah.
facilities for warehousing and
Yeah,
wholesale
that's not
distribution.
Are not allowed.
So what did we get rid of there?
First 3 words.
First 3 words.
First 3 words.
Businesses requiring large.
Okay, so we have a tree farm that's operating,
Hmm.
wholesale distribution in our town.
But they're planted,
They're agricultural.
they're planted.
They're agriculture.
They're agricultural. That's how they got in there, right?
Yep, exactly how they got in there.
Yep.
He's got a business license.
Are we wrong?
Well, I don't know, he's got a business license with the town of Daniel.
Is he a home business?
Is it a,
That was one of the conditions, they had to live in the home on the property.
is a landscaper though?
He doesn't do any retail out of there.
Nope.
That's what I mean, is he's got a business license as a landscaper?
He does.
And he's using, yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's a wholesale distribution.
Landscapers.
And that's what that is, wholesale tree lot. He doesn't do any retail.
He's warehousing them there until he takes them out and puts them on his projects.
But he's
Yeah.
planting them in the ground, the same as if you were to take a tomato plant and plant it.
Except he doesn't live on property, but.
That could be another issue.
Sounded like he does.
All I can tell you is when I came up to the house, he walked out of the house to talk to me.
Oh, good.
That's all I can say. I received that complaint that he didn't, and so I drove to the house, he
Because he
came out.
didn't.
So let's,
He didn't, he moved in.
let's
Perfect.
That's all
follow
I can
what
say, I don't know if he did
we heard
there.
earlier and let's
Come
forget
out of the house
about
to talk
past
to me.
Fast.
sins or whatever's
When he comes up for
happening.
renewal, we
Does
can
it have to be the
Yeah.
primary residence, or can it be like a
He
second?
just said he had to live on site,
So that's pretty much primary.
He lives in his car. That's what it's about.
so. We all live in our cars.
Pretty much.
I'm just wondering about how you got your taxes and stuff then, like, that would be a way to verify it.
And we had a CPA that come and said that a lot of this is, the definitions are in the Internal Revenue Code, and we didn't even want to be close to what the IRS does, so we steered away from that.
Tom, what are you thinking about acreage? How do you want to say that?
You got
I don't
K
know,
and
Brent.
stuff?
If you look at those two drawings
I
there,
agree, I mean, we've all
I
looked at
think the
that.
guy with the 20 acres should have at least the ability to do what's up there, which is double what we allow it. That's 10 pieces.
Why would you want
Nope.
that?
No,
No.
Why would you want that in a residential agricultural zone?
Yeah, I don't,
If
and
he
you've got
wants
all
to
those
do that,
neighbors
get his
around
zone,
the
get his
outside,
zoning changed to be industrial and go through that hassle.
or commercial.
I don't think in this room, we can sit here and play what if for every single
I'm
scenario.
not saying what if.
I think that there are certain things that are egregious, and I think that is. I think that if it's a larger piece, we ought to give them more leeway. That's all. That's all that I think about it.
if I have a 20-acre piece, I can still only build a 35-foot tall house. And I can build that 35-foot tall house on a 1-acre piece, so it wouldn't be the only case. And I think, at least my opinion is most property owners that have larger pieces would be willing to have that cap. But that's just my opinion.
Well, let's just leave it like it is. The 5, was that we
Well, we
decided
went to
5
4.
totaled? Oh, we went to 4? And
Kim
then,
proposed 4.
If
And
we
get
get
rid of the
into it in the
visible from
future,
frontage.
yeah, get rid of the visible. Then we'll deal with it then.
Then take
Yes.
N and put it right into that same one.
And I heard you kind of form that well. Shipping, transport, and trucking businesses are
They
allowed.
follow that same guideline, so it should be in that same line.
Okay,
Only theirs can have 2 combinations or 2, what is,
So
would you
take
just call
out
them
and
cabs?
included in.
I don't know what to call that. Tractors?
Construction tractor.
2 combinations, period.
For the same total of 4 pieces, so
Okay.
Can I answer your question?
what was my question?
Why would I want something like that?
Well, I'm just saying, if you're sitting on a residential agricultural piece of ground, and you knew that going in, and now you wanna change it to a whole lot more equipment on that thing, I would think now you want to have it either rezoned, or I'm gonna put that business someplace else. But that was my question, is why you wanna put that kind of business on a residential agricultural piece of ground?
I don't necessarily have a desire to put that on a residential piece of property, but I have a really strong feeling about those of us getting together in this room and telling other people they can't do things. I think if
Well,
people,
you guys, that's what you guys are here
What we
for.
do.
That's
Wow.
what planning and zoning does.
No, we tell them what they can do, not what they
Okay.
can't do.
That's right.
That's the opposite.
Okay.
Thank you.
But that,
You
that's
can.
the
But we
job,
don't
isn't
want
it?
to tell them they can do, you can have 4 pieces of equipment.
I don't want
It's
to
better
tell
to say
somebody
you
who's
can't have
trying
0.
their hardest to make a living.
Okay, how
But they
can we
can't.
put Kerry to work here? We go right back to the front of this agreement and tell you the 5 changes that we're recommending to town council. How's that?
Okay,
You're gonna tell me the 5 changes? I hope so, because
You're gonna
you've
put it in a
done that
motion?
so many times, I have no idea.
are you joining the club?
You have
Kim's gonna tell
a
you.
8.25
I do.
Okay.
I'm in,
Gary's gonna give you the first change.
825.
Okay, 82508,
Here's your paper.
where it says
I still have
existing permits shall be renewed when applied for.
I picked that out,
Okay, we want to cross that out.
okay?
Next page is clean.
Wow, that was quick.
So far. And then 82511.
We have to insert another sentence.
After where it says chapter,
Okay,
you want to insert a sentence, and I think it's permits must be renewed on a biannual basis. And then the just end of sentence, and then if signed complaints have been received, business licensing and
Now,
occupancy
okay,
Eric,
review and may be
add
revoked.
it.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? Under the general requirements, a home occupation may be permitted in RA5. What's the M?
The M.
It's on page, the next to last page at the very top. M
It says-
and P160 zones.
Oh, Mountain Zone.
Mountain.
Mountain. I should have known that, sorry. Thank you.
Good question, especially since we can answer.
And then before we get to the last five,
Okay, sorry.
I probably missed
Or
on the
maybe you
discussion,
just
whatever happened to
That way
hazardous
if
materials?
this code changes.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to what?
Hazardous materials?
I don't
What
see
happened
any
to
of
it?
that.
We had something in there, I thought, about hazardous materials, which I think is pretty important.
I don't remember anything about that.
I don't either.
Well, we're missing it, we need something.
Was it in the previous
Don't we have
version?
that
And it's-
covered somewhere in our code somewhere?
I still think you'd be better off, and there's different levels of hazardous materials.
You say everything's hazard now,
Yeah, but
In the state of California.
even here.
Even here.
Breathing.
so is, I know Mark doesn't haul propane, but would Barry feel comfortable if he had a 5,000 gallon tank of propane 5 feet from his house or 10 feet
If it
from
was
his house?
servicing my house, I'd be okay.
And it was paid for?
That is a
No,
good plan.
that's, no.
I don't know.
Isn't it part of when the guys first started that it applies with all relevant code? So you can't have like that propane be that close to that building technically.
As far as the trucking business is concerned, when you're hauling hazardous material, this is from me obtaining a license to be able to haul it. You have to park in a safe haven that is an approved parking area, owned, either it be like a truck stop, a trucking hub. And I do see where we gotta have an issue here, that you've allowed a trucking business to be here, and that would be considered a safe haven.
Well,
So,
or
I'm
the
kind
minute,
of throwing
the
myself
minute
under
the
the
truck
bus here.
drops off that,
Under the truck.
And I get your point, I don't want that at my house,
So like-
my family either.
agriculture uses a lot of anhydrous ammonia. I really don't want that close to my house.
No.
What is that?
Insecticide or fertilizer.
Or, one of the agricultural places that I go to keeps phosgene gas there to fumigate almonds. Do I want that anywhere near my house? No.
So
So,
where would that be?
So maybe,
there may be a truck full of diesel, that's fine, I don't know, I don't know the answer to that one, but I think,
I think we're covered in our code somewhere.
I don't think we are.
maybe in the home occupation part, you just say that hazardous material loads aren't allowed.
Storage of hazardous materials.
Storage of hazardous
In residential
materials.
zones is not allowed.
Okay.
But,
That makes sense.
but then you get things like dihydrogen monoxide.
That's an
That can be
agricultural
That's-
use.
That's not
Most
hazardous,
corrosive
flammable.
agent there is.
Dihydrogen monoxide, water, H2O. But it's considered hazardous in some cases. So I don't know the answer, but
businesses.
I do think there's things we don't want in the neighborhood.
So one of our recommendations would be that the council should consider the question of
Let's,
Hazardous material storage.
yeah.
let's just
Or
add,
presence of
let's just
hazardous
add that on
materials.
that.
Yeah, so let's finish
Let's
going
finish
through
what
we
the
have.
Okay,
changes
I'm sorry.
are.
That may not be in this document at all.
It might be
This is home
another-
occupation. I think
Just
you need to have a hazardous material
Okay.
standard, but it probably is
And
part
so
of
then it would
this.
say they comply with our
They
hazardous
comply with
materials.
hazardous.
Then maybe we do have something, so let's just continue.
So we finished 8/28/5/11. Permits
Yep.
must be renewed on a biannual basis.
Yep, and then our next one
I interrupted and
was,
started on the show.
K and N are combined,
Okay.
So we-
and then get rid of the included in item K above.
I'm getting rid of what?
On N, your last bit says "and included in item K above," so cross that out.
Okay, cross that out.
And then just append it to K.
Can we read?
Wait a minute, let's go back to K, or you'll get confused. We're changing the 5 pieces to 4 pieces,
Correct.
and
And
then
the sentence,
after
the sentence ends at
totals, after total, then we get rid of with visible from frontage.
Yep.
So
Thank you.
total, period,
Right.
end of sentence.
Okay, now we,
Yeah.
after that, after total, we go and we just move this N up to K.
Correct.
Okay.
Shipping, transport, trucking businesses are not allowed except for owner-operator with cap of 2
Two combinations.
Two combinations.
combinations,
Period.
period.
Period. Okay, got it.
We agreed on
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then we
so
took out
much.
M.
So much there.
and, well, L, we took the first 3 words out of L.
And we did what?
First 3 words go away on L,
Correct.
Business requiring
large.
large. is
Okay,
not-
got that.
We took those out.
I got that out.
Okay, and then M is gone.
M is
M
gone
is
out
completely
completely.
out.
Okay,
O becomes M.
okay, so we took M out. Okay. I would,
And then we want to put a note on that says we need to make sure that we're covered on hazardous material storage in other code.
We could add B, no hazardous material will be carried or stored.
Yeah, I just,
But you carry it through the town anyway. You see
I'm-
tankers go up and down.
I'm afraid-
I don't know, you can
Well,
do
tankers,
Let's
that's
just,
not.
let's
just
let's
that.
let
What's
the
in
Yeah.
there.
deal with that one.
somebody
We
solved
should
that
have hazardous
problem.
material
Yeah, second deal
combustible
with
Because-
flammable.
Is that a spray can of paint? Is that
Categories.
Now, that's
So-
the-
Hazardous
can of ether to start your
That-
truck with?
That's the exact same.
Yeah, they all kind of roll into these hazardous materials. and all
Okay,
those
that's it.
that-
So,
Okay, so
make
that's
a
gonna save
motion.
us all this time.
Don't you make a motion?
Yeah, you have somebody, let's keep this moving. Okay,
The
Are we ready for a
city should have
What about-
in there
Are we ready for a motion?
that's all our changes.
okay, I got the
Small
changes,
acreages,
so
wants to
we're gonna
make your
address that.
motion.
I'll
Okay,
make a
yeah.
motion.
Kim's making the motion.
What about the small size?
Small acreage.
Not going there.
I don't want to fool with it myself.
Not
Make the motion, Kim, and we'll vote on it and see where we're at.
Okay, I make the motion on the previous changes made by the planning and zoning, or commissioners.
Okay, have a motion, is there a second?
So we're motioning to send this to the commission. or
with
back
the
to-
changes.
With
Back to
the
the
changes.
council to change.
Back to the council
City council.
with our
Council, with
recommendations,
council.
with our
In
recommendations.
ink.
And in the future, we'll
All right.
cross things out.
And who's going to second this?
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it. My turn.
That's a fourth.
Okay,
You did the last one.
Okay, did you get one of them too now?
yeah.
Okay.
I got
Pick
you.
one, Jay. Okay.
All right. Okay, I have a motion, a second, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call for the vote, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, one opposed, motion carries.
Are you tired?
Where's me at?
That doesn't mean it's over though, so
Oh,
don't.
no, it's not coming
It's getting
back.
closer though.
It's back.
That's like 3 weeks.
What if we make a motion to carry this over to next meeting?
No.
It's too late now.
Like,
It'll
What
be
is
back.
what is the boundary adjustment update? What does that number say?
Charleston?
Yes, the Charleston boundary between us and them. They have advertised for, what's the word I'm looking for, vacate of 3,000 south. So it's up for a public hearing now. They're gonna vacate the current road where it is, and then it will do the alignment that we talked about with our interlocal agreement with the UDOT. Okay, so that's out for a public hearing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
loop.
Yeah, we met with UDOT, and if any of these will ever be signalized in the future, they need to line up or they won't be. So we went and we worked through Highway 40 and 189 both. We have an agreement on both of those. So we're, with some of the municipalities, Independence chose not to be a part of that. The Highway 41, Daniel didn't sign. Because we got sideways with another municipality, but it's all in the works, and it was quite an interesting thing. The mayor says, wait a minute, you won't sign, but you want me to stick to it? I said, yeah, you signed it. So, it's headed that way, that's where we're headed, it's good news, so we hope that'll make that a safer intersection down there. Okay, so that's the update on that. Meeting schedule for next year, everybody okay with 7 o'clock? Doing our standard meeting? Anybody? This is that meeting, that's the meeting dates. We'll go ahead and post. If everybody's okay with still doing what we're doing. This is what we need.
one of the ones a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice a month.
Twice a month.
Okay, is everybody okay with them schedules? Okay, we'll go ahead and notice that in the paper so that we're in our compliance with our noticing.
It's already come out.
Did it?
They're gonna put it in the
Good deal. I'm glad
Good
you
thing we
like
liked it.
Come out in today's paper.
I'll see it.
Right on.
I don't look at the
Okay.
Makes a difference.
The next one is deck standards. The council wants us to look at the decks. We mentioned this before on what the definition of a deck is and when it would constitute a permit.
Can we continue that?
You bet.
I move that we continue this to our next
Can we talk about
scheduled
it for
meeting.
30 seconds first?
Yes.
Because I actually went out and did some work, because I thought this meeting was gonna be late and long anyway. So I emailed all of you just some suggestions to start thinking about.
I didn't get that. Did you just send it today?
I sent it today about 3 o'clock.
Okay, I haven't looked yet.
So it's just a starting point, just to get us talking, so we don't have to start from scratch. So if you look at that and be ready for next time, I'm fine with continuing it, so.
Okay, so I have a motion to continue. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Good work. Thank
All
you.
right. Call for the vote. All in favor? 100%. Item's carried.
That's a first.
First tonight.
Okay, we got the planner report. Geez, I don't even know if I want to get that out.
You want to continue?
Yeah, can
I make a motion that we continue to next meeting.
we? I like that.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. I like it. We're out of here.
Just give us the highlights.
We probably ought to approve the minutes though.
Yeah,
Shoot. Yeah.
we'll finish.
We've had quite a few things coming through that we've done. We had a carport that we had down in a environmentally sensitive area that we had to work through, so, and it actually was enclosed, so we pushed that through as an accessory structure, and they had to go through all of the fees and engineering that a normal, even though there's no footings in the ground.
Oh, they also just had their final inspection last week.
Did they?
Good.
Awesome.
Good.
So that was up on a Storm Haven lot, one of the small lots. So that was one that we worked through. We also had, gotta put on my glasses on. We did sign a contract with the town for snow removal. There was a zone change that was coming in front of you guys for the Welch property. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay, that went before they turned in an application and they requested that the town waive the fees. Went back to the council because planning can't waive fees, that's not our job. Went back to the council, they rejected that, so the fees are not waived. We have not received a completed application. They were looking at changing the P160 zoning to RA5 was their request, but I can't process that without a completed application, which means fees are paid, so that's why it wasn't on the agenda for you guys to see.
Most of that's straight up and down.
Yeah, there's definitely some different criteria on that property
Yeah, make it hard.
that makes it real tough. Yeah, it makes it.
One zone are 45-degree slopes.
Yeah, and how much of that, I mean, I know they can do some creative splitting and things to make,
We want to do 2 lots, right?
no, they wanted to change zoning to RA5,
Oh, period.
so,
Splitting will come later.
yeah, that would be, they didn't have an interest in that, just for your sake, right now, but clearly some of the people looking at the property had that intent. Okay, is that enough? You any questions for me? Okay.
Just as a point of information, we had Chad Wood come and show us house plans and request that house. They've decided not to build, and they are in the process of selling that lot, and they have moved values.
Oh, really?
So that will not be a continuing.
Yeah, we haven't seen any applications.
Yeah, and that's why.
That makes me so mad.
It's okay.
One less household to put water on for the time being, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
One less business.
And that lot is for sale now, huh?
Yeah,
Or
they're in
coming
the
up.
process of selling it to a family member.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll probably get some information on that lot. Okay, let's go move on to minute approval, July 19th. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
There's a typo on number 4 somewhere.
Well, there's a little 1 underneath the number 4.
For page 1, you mean?
Hey, is that what that's supposed to be there in the middle? Oh, okay. Yeah, page 1. I don't know what the typo is at.
Not was.
He was withdrawn.
He was a little bit.
What is it, Carrie? Do you know what the typo?
He has withdrawn.
I agree with you, so I don't know.
I can't read it upside down here. It should be has.
Okay, I'll fix that on mine.
I think we should add verbally in there, since we had this discussion tonight.
He has verbally withdrawn,
Okay.
and that's number 4.
Yeah. Is that the only change? Okay.
The only other typo was under 2, Storm Haven Sewer. Mr. Taylor present to the commission, should it be presented?
Okay.
That's the only thing I saw, other than the random page numbers. In the middle.
In order, the random page orders in number, in order.
Just was the way I printed on my printer.
Okay, I have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 16th.
July 19th.
July. Says
thought it was
August
August.
It says August
16th.
16th. Yeah, so this is wrong. So we have a typo here.
Okay.
That doesn't
Thank you,
matter.
August
Never mind.
16th,
Okay, sorry,
Yeah, this is-
I'll fix that too.
with the corrections that we provided.
But it matters.
That's correct. Okay.
Okay, is the motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, any more discussion? Seeing none, call for the vote, all in favor? Another 100%, I like it. Okay, that takes us down to the last one, motion to adjourn.
I ain't making
You
it.
can't get that one?
I'm not making it.
It's been so much fun.
Okay, starting back at 8:25.
Motion to adjourn. I'll make that motion.
Okay, have a motion to adjourn, is there a second? Call for the vote, all in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody wants to go home, I like it. Thank you all for
Thanks, you guys.
coming.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
everything you do.
thanks for your help.
See ya.